In 1967, the house of a state soldier in rural Jordan gets placed with a boy who picks up reading early in his life, gets intrigued by tennis, but also by Russian literature, as a result of which he migrates to Moscow as a teenager without the slightest idea of how difficult life would be without any knowledge of the language of the land. As cliché as it sounds, he falls in love, gets married, and has 2 kids. While he hoped his eldest would learn to appreciate literature and eventually pursue it, it seemed that life had other plans. When at 9 years old, she watched Anna Ivanovich smash a tennis ball on TV. An initial sprout of passion for tennis soon took her to Germany, where for the first time she witnessed life outside the bubble of privilege she was growing up in. Although the sport didn't hold her hand for as long as she wanted, it inculcated in her the undying wish to keep breaking out of the box, and hence, when the next opportunity to do so knocked on her door, she was already ready with a suitcase.
30 years before all of this began to happen, a 9-year-old girl boards a jam-packed train from Lahore, not knowing where the train is heading while millions got slaughtered in a separation of two prospective nations. She gets off alone in Rohtak, a small town 100 kilometers north of New Delhi, gets adopted by an extended relative who marries her off to an 18-year-old orphan. Not long after the wedding, they have 4 boys while she tries to work odd jobs from a one-room house and her husband struggles to find work, which when he finally does, he gets diagnosed by a disease that would slowly paralyze him along with worsening the already paralyzed finances of the house, meaning the family would see many hungry nights. As the boys grew up, the hunger for food turned into an aspiration for a better life, as a result of which 3 out of the 4 got stable government jobs. However, advent of modern globalization in the country when the youngest boy graduated from college opened for him the doors of a multinational work environment. This lad moves to Delhi in order to raise a family of 3 kids with a wife. Since he knew how much he had to struggle to feel respected in society just because he couldn't speak English well, he decides that the first language his kids will learn to communicate in would not be one of the land, but that of the colonizers. Out of the 3 kids, his son ended up falling head over heels for the language and developed interest in politics, which leads him to travel thousands of miles away in search for a better life, but also the answer to a question which has been haunting him ever since he was a teenager.
What's the point of everything?
I guess the answer is still unknown. But if you believe the slightest in the phrase that everything has a purpose, then maybe everything about these 2 stories has meaning. I mean, if Alina's father wasn't brave enough to migrate to a new land, or Keshav's grandmother had not been married poor, maybe both of them would never have met. If they wouldn't have met, they would never know that both of them were haunted by some common questions and fears. While globalization has been playing an essential role in every part of the journey, the curiosity to understand the application of this vague-looking term has led them to a professor who became a friend. Friends who unknowingly taught them valuable lessons and destinations that ended up being more than structures of concrete on land. However, you can always discard them, their experiences, their questions, just by blurting out something like, "Your grandparents and parents worked so hard for you to have a better life, and what are you even doing? Staring at a screen for 7, 8, 9 hours? What do you even look at on your phone the whole day? Wait, what's that? Oh shit, that's funny."
So basically, you have a choice. You can either stand behind us and help us point in the direction we're going in, or you can just call us a bunch of dumbasses and, discard us. But either way, we're going to take the world forward. After all, y'all are old as shit.
So, while this generation is questioning everything, be it something as simple as why a chair has 4 legs, or something as complex as why humans need faith, it's also the one which will soon join humanity's search for answers if you think it hasn't already. After all, you gotta understand the question in order to look for answers, right?